We'll do the recording. Good morning. And for those of you who are seeing this remote, thank you for checking in. This week we're doing charts and graphs. As I was talking to the people who are here live, we're a little ahead of where I expected to be and where I was last year. So on Wednesday, we will have a sleep-in day. I will be available, but I'm not going to have anything new. So that's what's up and coming this week. What we will do, going over where we are. First off, as we always do, we'll show last week's assignment. I was real pleased. Most of you were in the ballpark. You're getting it. Not sure if you're using the InDesign somehow or another program, but you got it. So I'm very, very pleased overall. Anyway, just going over these things. Good lead photo, very directional. Here we have what we call a dog leg. Needed to push up this one. You needed to square this off. Here we have trap space. She's looking away from the page. We needed to move this photo here and leave your white space to the outside. But again, you're in the ballpark. I mean, for a first effort, I mean, this is really sharp. The only thing is, again, the line gives you two different, splits it in half when it should be one thing. Again, keep your white space to the outside, push that in, push that in. Nice typography. Since this is a directional picture, I might put this whole stack on that side. But, you know, really good ideas. And again, trap space here. Leave our white space to the outside. Okay, here we've squished this picture, kind of squished this picture, stretched this one out. And if you look at the square inches, this picture and this picture take up about as much space. Don't be afraid to make your dominant picture truly big. So this one needs to be bigger. And again, spaces need to be even throughout. But the fact you're doing this at all for a first effort, this is good. Okay, this one's really good. We should probably switch these two pictures. Again, she's looking off the page. Dominant element, again, keeping all our spaces even. She did a fine job. Only thing here, since our caption is the same typeface as the story, we're not sure whether or not you should read down here or across here. Get this in a bold typeface and maybe flush it right so it lines up to here. But really good overall. Again, you're doing everything right, just a few tweaks. This splitting the text all the way we did here, it's hard to tell what's going on. You need to have the text start here and over. Good dominant arc. Again, she's looking off the page. This should be on this side. I mean, this is interesting. this line splits the type. Should it all go together? I'm just not sure where the story goes. This kind of overlay, I would not take off for, but a lot of people don't like it. The good news is, again, using the columns to keep it all even, at least, you know, very creative, at least very neat. This one's also good. Very nice. Again, this needs to be on that side. We need to square this off. Don't need to use all the pictures. You just need to push this up and square it more than anything. Okay. Good photo editing here. Not bad here. The only issue is, again, push this up, square this off, and since she's going here, maybe put this photo over there. But again, the good thing you're doing right is, again, keeping your spaces nice and even and working with your columns. I mean, for a first effort, you all are doing quite well. Again, this way, this is good having it here. Square this off at the bottom. You can push this up, make this nice and square. But no, again, you got the idea. At this stage of the game, you're doing quite well. Okay, we have similar here. I would push our spaces in a little bit. I might put Born to Ride down here. Usually our headlines go with our copy, and cut this off. I mean, this, again, that dog leg thing is just something that we don't need. See, and here, again, squish this photo, stretch this one, squish this one. It can't tell if the way we read this, you need to again, cut off the horse's butt. If this is two different stories or a caption, we need to know that. Cut the horse's butt or the back of the person, move this over, keep our spaces even. The fact that you're doing this at all, though, you all are doing a fine, fine job. Again, squished, and this needs to be squared off, just like any other photo. All right, here we've got it more or less square. Good dominant element, trap space here, push this over, maybe get a headline down there. But again, the fact that you're doing this at all is really good. This isn't really, certainly this needs to be going over here. Not sure what we're doing with this particular layout. That centering did not help. Get this on one line, nice and square here. Push this up, she's kind of stretched out, but this is all you need. Okay, we need a headline down here. The box doesn't help. She needs to be looking into it. You need a headline down here. Okay, so overall, for a first effort, you're doing pretty good. So don't, you know, you can see the things that are imperfect, but I wouldn't worry too much about where you are with this, because you were able to do it at all. You know, so that's, you know, none of them are perfect, but you're all in the ballpark and the rest is just practice. So the next thing we do, the fact that you're able to get words and pictures on the page, that's huge. So I really, 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 really appreciate that. Now, for the next thing we do, charts and graphs. And then in our next couple of projects, we'll be putting all the pieces of the puzzle. We did type, we did a page, we did pictures. Now, one more arrow in the quiver is charts and graphs. The assignment this week, there's not one way to do it. How much does it cost to go to UTC? That is purposely vague. Someone asked you, okay, this is a question I get all the time. Hey, how much does it cost? My answer is, this is a good way to explain chart, graph, illustration, or mix thereof to tell the story. You can use any number of things, software, mix thereof, to just answer a basic question. You could use a table, a chart, any number of things. So much of this is a conceptual sort of thing, but use the stuff we've already talked about with pictures, with keeping our columns even, keeping our spaces even. All of that still comes into play. This should be creative. Anyway, this is set the big picture, and then I'll get a little bit more specific. And this is one of the differences between our department. Oop, wrong one. It's not opening. There it is. I call this reporting, and this is one of the differences between our department and the art department, is we in communications are conveying information. Our whole point is that we're letting people know, hey, this is what's going on. And it doesn't have to be journalistic reporting. If you're in business or the arts or the sciences, you are conveying information. And visuals really help them. Hello. Okay. Visuals add emotion. Print is just the facts. You saw that with your pictures. Even if it's a dog or a cat, it's got personality and emotions. Personality attracts the viewers. Okay. These are the kinds of things that you could embed, and we'll do charts and graphs. But these are all things that are visual elements. Photos, don't be afraid to make them large. You did that. Maps. Maps are a good thing to have. Videos, we might do same rules for video composition as a photo. Typography is art. Links, illustrations, drawings. Graphics. Here is what we're doing this week. Different kinds of graphics, timelines, a how-to, tables and charts. You might want to do a table for this assignment. Bar chart also, pie chart, line or fever chart, things that change over time. Any of those things might be useful for this assignment. There's not one way to do it. Bad visuals, out of focus, distracting elements, use a headshot instead. Empty graphic, this is a good one. If you just have for this, how much does it cost, and have a $ with, you know, $4,000. That doesn't tell you anything, or doesn't. Environmental fallacy, elements don't really relate. Car accidents and distance from home. Distortions of scale. Anybody, you know, most car accidents happen within a mile of your house. Okay, what's wrong with that? What does that mean? Does that mean that you're more careless a mile from your house? No, it means that you are usually not going very far. So of course you're going to have more accidents near your home, because that's where you are most of the time. So it doesn't mean you're less, it doesn't mean that you are less careful. So be careful about the things you relate to each other. Distortions of scale. You could make a chart showing that costs are big or costs are small, depending on how you do the scale. Plan visuals before you do gather information on this. This is a good one for that. Get your own costs. Look at the bursar's office. Figure out your own bills. This is a good one for that. Once you have your information, then you could decide the best way to present it. And that's the next thing we'll do, visuals and type. Again, visual lead. This is something in the last assignment we did. Dominant element, what are you going to start with? Picture, headline. Keep your text together. Wrap type around visual elements. Keep labels clear. Make sure they add to the story, not detract from it. Simple stuff, I'll get a little bit more detailed in the next one. Basic guidelines. Okay, ask yourself, what's missing from a story? Again, it's visual reporting. What are you trying to say? Is it, if there's something in words, what can you say better visually? Again, bogging down the text, certainly costs, numbers, what needs clarification, how much time and space, what's the point? And that's the big thing. How much does it cost is the point, but how much does it cost to you? It may be different for somebody else. It may be different for, or who is your audience? Who's looking at this? Is this for potential students? Is it for someone, you know, for your friends? Do you think you're paying too much? This is what you're going to give to your parents? That's something to think about. All right. Collect data carefully. Make it simple. What's the point? You should just look at it and know what's going on. See, way too busy. See, if it's like this, that's not great. You can't tell what these little slices are. You might have to label them. Too many stuff. Maybe combine categories. You know, and label what the big one here is. Instruction, teaching. That should be labeled. So, I mean, it's just common sense stuff. Now, accurate. Okay, bar charts might be good with this. Now, if you look at this, it looks like they spent twice as much in this year than this year. But if you look at the scale, it's really not that much difference. It's a difference of $1,000, not twice. It's a difference of 20%, not twice. So that is what I called earlier a distortion of scale. You might have, because again, they did not pay twice as much this year as that year. As a matter of fact, there's only a 10% difference, not double. So be very careful. Label clearly. Have some fun. This is a good one. Have some fun with this. All right. Here are the kinds of charts and graphs, and you can combine them. A little fact box, boom, boom, boom. Basic costs on the side you might put in on top of everything else. Bio box if you have a person. A list might be good if we're talking about how to prepare for registration. Glossary of terms, probably don't need for this. Checklist, also, if we were going to do something for registration. Quiz, probably not here. Q&A, that might be useful for this. Poll, not really. Collection of quotes may be fun. Hey, it costs entirely too much. Fever chart, bar chart, pie chart. Probably these are probably the best way to do this assignment. Say your overall costs, how much is fees, how much is fees, how much is tuition. And you know, you can plug these into Word or some other program, and then clean it up and dress it up to make it more presentable. Nothing wrong with, again, making a chart or graph on another program, exporting it, and then making it look a little sharper for the purpose of this class. Table. You might, again, that might work for this. But if you do a table, again, make it fun. Give it a good headline. Maybe put a picture or something. Ratings, nah. Timeline, probably not for this. But, something on the pandemic. That would be good. Step-by-step guide, again, for how-tos. Diagram. To show something works or explains the parts. You might take this, split it into where all the money goes. Map, probably not for this, but if we did, and that'll be something we start talking about in 2 weeks, is and once we do our class project, if we did recreation or restaurants or something with COVID, where do you go get tested? Where do you go? Where is this restaurant? Maps are useful. One of the better things I saw for maps was the police blotter at a campus showing where every little incident occurred. Then you know where the hot spots are if you're going to get arrested, or if you're going to get ticketed. Where is the worst place to get a parking ticket? Okay, here's like fact boxes, all about everything you wanted to know about rats. You could have some fun with these. Worm farming, yes. Again, all about worm farming. Little infographics. Again, probably not for this assignment, but maybe, you know, put a $sign here and then some facts about tuition costs. It's possible. Lists, yeah, you could do it like this. How much, table, chart, or graph, how much goes into it, and then the bottom line. Here, you could do this assignment as a list. Checklist, probably not for this, but for other things. I love this. How to resuscitate a lizard, just in case you ever need to do that. Probably not for this assignment, but it's there. Okay, diagrams. This could be a way to do this assignment. Dollar bill, and slice it all up and say how much goes where. That could be a way to do it. Diagrams, again, you could do your bill or a bill and how stuff goes. Maps, again, not for this, but a good thing to have. Packages, again, everything you wanted to know about the walleye, which we do have in our lake here. But yeah, you can get fancy and do charts, graphs, tables, maps, all sorts of things. Voting, certainly. So yeah, this is where we get really fancy, putting them all together. So you have a lot of options. You know, again, you can put it into an Excel spreadsheet or a Word spreadsheet, export it, and then if you do that, then do a little extra. Put a, put a good headline or another graphic in it. So anyway, this should be kind of fun. And I'm not going to do anything new on Wednesday. I'll be here if anyone has a Q&A, but no, I'll let you either sleep in or use this time. Okay? Questions on any of it? Okie dokes. I appreciate it. I do, again, those of you who do show up and keep me company, you really, 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 I do appreciate your presence. And this is one of those things where when I do the final grading and we do midterm grades this week, this is those of you who are here. This is where the 89 becomes the A, and the 89 may not be for those who don't show up. Just an FYI. So thank you so much, guys. Anyway, anything going on? Any questions? Okie doke. I'll post this and I'll be there Wednesday, and we'll move on to the next thing next Monday.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.